Today's episode of the PKD Dietitian podcast is brought to you by the PKD Outreach Foundation, PKD. I just love that name. I love the do part of it. Their mission is to end polycystic kidney disease. A pretty solid mission, if you ask me. One of the ways that PKD is helping to do this is by providing couples with the necessary resources to end PKD and their families through a form of IVF called PGTM. That's pre-implantation genetic testing. PKD is proud to be currently working with University of Utah Health. They're working with Northwell Health in Long Island and Reproductive Medical Associates in New York. In collaboration with the University of Utah Health, they have also successfully launched a PGTM awareness campaign for the PKD community. Through increasing awareness of and helping with the funding for PGTM, PKD wants to help couples with PKD and their family cut the risk of their children being born with PKD from 50% odds to 0% chance. This is the chance to forever end PKD in your family tree. PKD believes that every family with PKD has a story, but that you absolutely can change that ending, and they would like to help. If you or your family would like to get help with information on or funding for PGTM, please email PKD at helpingfamilies@pkdo.org. That's helpingfamilies@pkdo.org. You can also learn more about PKD, their mission, and the resources to help on their website at pkdo.org. That's pkdo.org. Of course, both of those are linked out in my show notes for you. Welcome back to the PKD Dietitian podcast. I'm your host, Diana Bruin. Over the past several years, I have gotten asked more times than I can count if I have polycystic kidney disease. I do not. The next question I get is usually along the lines of, well, how did you end up focusing on PKD as a dietitian? You're the first one I have found who does. And today, I'm going to share that with you, the story and evolution of how I became the PKD dietitian. Early in 2020, I was asked by Jessiana Seville, that time of the Kidney RD, if I was interested in looking deeper into possible dietary interventions for PKD. Was I interested in connecting with a couple of PKD researchers to explore if their research and work could be applied and used outside of the lab as a safe dietary intervention for PKD. Basically, to look at all the research about PKD that was being published, and believe me, there was a lot, which is a good thing, and see if there was a safe way to put everything together with what I know about the kidneys, what I know about kidney health, and nutrition. Spoiler alert, those researchers were Dr. Wimes and Dr. Jacob Torres, whose work, published in December of 2019, identified that PKD cyst cells have an altered metabolic pathway leading to an increased reliance on glucose, that's blood sugar, as an energy source. More specifically, the goal was to look at if a kidney-friendly ketogenic therapy was feasible, safe, and doable. And if the answer was yes, what would that even look like food-wise? Believe you me, I took a pause to think about this opportunity. Here I was, an experienced dietitian, a specialist in the kidneys, but this was a bit outside of my comfort zone. But I am curious, a lifelong learner and a seeker of solutions. So that pause really didn't last too long. When it comes to nutritional interventions, I always ask, why would we do this? That's the science part. And how would we do this? That's the real world part. I believe that unless we are willing to try new things, develop new protocols, and explore outside of what is considered normal, we won't move the needle forward at all with what we do to help PKD, let alone chronic kidney disease. all progress begins with a brave decision to say yes. So I said, yes, let me look into this. Ketogenic therapy was an opportunity already out there within the PKD community. It was out since the publication of the Wimes Lab research in 2019. It was out when there weren't and still aren't many options yet. And it was an opportunity. However, there was minimal professional guidance or support. The fact is that folks are going to do ketogenic therapy because of this. The question is, can we help them do it safely? Instead of instantly saying no, like many in the medical and dietitian fields continue to do, I really wanted to explore further, to educate myself and not form an opinion based on lack of knowledge, my own knowledge, or based on popular and often uninformed opinions. So that's what I did. I dug in. I read every piece of research I could get my hands on. I asked questions, a lot of questions, to the PKD community, to expert researchers, to fellow dietitians, and nephrologists. I spoke to the best of the best in the fields. I mapped out PKD pathways. Imagine this. I put up huge Post-it notes around my living room listing all the ways we could positively impact PKD. Can you tell that I'm a very visual thinker? I explored ketogenic therapy in the kidneys, asking myself, what exactly do we know? And what has science shown us? I then went back to my huge Post-it notes and started listing out all the amazing food that could and should be part of a kidney-friendly ketogenic therapy. Hint, it's lots of good plants. Hence, the evolution to a focus on plant-focused ketogenic therapy. Because know this, you always have to consider the kidneys when you are making any changes, but you cannot consider the kidneys' health in isolation. Health and nutrition is about you as a whole person. Well, you get the picture by now. And little did I know that once I started digging into the research and the science around PKD, what we know and what we are learning, that I would 100% pivot my work as a dietitian. There is so much good research and information about nutrition and PKD, but it's not in one place. It is all over the place. Plus, there's a lot of misinformation out there. Dangerous misinformation and recommendations. It could drive anyone mad trying to sort through all of this and piece together and come up with a PKD nutrition strategy and plan. If you have ever tried to Google PKD diet or PKD health, I bet you know exactly what I mean. I kept asking myself, why aren't we sharing all this? Why is no one helping the PKD community put all this great knowledge in one place and help them put it into action? We have ways to help. And why aren't these nutritional opportunities being shouted from a mountaintop? It didn't take long before I knew that I had to be that person. After all of this, my conclusion was, yes, on paper, we 100% can do this in a kidney-safe way. So it was time to get to work. I started working with my first 2 to 3 clients. Some of the most amazing people who were flexible, vulnerable, honest, and adventurous. I am forever thankful to them for letting me into their lives, into their kitchen, and onto their healthcare team. 2 of them had pretty low kidney function with GFRs of less than 10 and even less than 15. Our primary goal when starting this was stability. And of course, our secondary goal was an improvement. So both of these early on clients lived a plant-focused ketogenic lifestyle, and they had great impacts on their lab numbers. They felt great and continued to work. Both of them eventually became active on the transplant list and got transplants. Because really the first goal of PKD, again, is always stability, and that's what we were able to do. I also got to work in my kitchen and started testing recipes, adapting macros, and playing around. Food has got to taste good for any long-term changes. This part was really fun, but it also included a few absolute disaster dishes. One time I was developing a recipe. It was this beautiful dish, and I made it and meal prepped it for the whole week. And then when I went to eat it, it turns out I forgot to rinse the kale, and it literally was like eating a sandbox. Sometimes you just gotta laugh at yourself. There was lots of those, but so many more that were like, wow, this is really delicious. Fast forward a year, and I had developed a solid protocol for PKD and ketogenic therapy, but also a whole resource of recipes, menus, guides, and an ever-growing connection with the PKD community. That same work and protocol was used to develop a course for healthcare professionals on keto and the kidneys, with a whole day dedicated to working with PKD, and was used to create the Renew program. Along the way, I learned so much about what it was like living with PKD, about health stress and passed down family trauma. I learned about fertility and family planning fears, about PKD belly and the dreaded GFR cliff. I learned about dangerous diets and supplement recommendations that were spread online that folks will try out of desperation. I 100% get this. I learned about major gaps in how we care for PKD and how we approach caring for PKD. And I also learned that I was in the exact place I needed to be as a dietitian. To take all my experience, knowledge, know-how, and to step up for the PKD community, to speak and educate on opportunities to slow progression, to help folks one-on-one with their proactive nutrition for PKD, to put everything in one place, to show how to safely do ketogenic therapy and make sure no harm is done, to educate other RDs and PKD professionals about the differences we need to know between PKD and CKD, but also the opportunities we can share. To give the PKD community a trusted source for nutrition information, and to always ask, okay, why and how? Today, that is what I do. It is my mission to highlight all these opportunities we have for the PKD community with nutrition and with anything else that can help. What I know is that there are nutritional opportunities to impact the progression of PKD in a positive way. That ketogenic therapy is an option, but not the only one. All this experience and work has helped me develop my 3 core principles of PKD nutrition, 3 things that will benefit every single person, and they really are the foundation of a healthy diet for PKD, but also an additional set of opportunities, 6 of them, in fact, to impact PKD health and progression in a positive way with nutrition. They are all science-backed, real-world tested, and RD approved. The best part is every single core principle and opportunity stands on its own as powerful and positive. You do not have to do all of the things. Every single one is powerful. Today, I am all in and dedicated to keeping up with everything PKD. Why? Because I want to shine a spotlight on what we know about nutrition and PKD, what we can do with that knowledge in real life, and what that looks like for you. If you are interested in learning more about my core principles and exploring the set of 6 opportunities, absolutely reach out to me. I believe nutrition is a cornerstone of proactive and protective care for polycystic kidney disease. And I am thankful to have accepted that question, can this be done challenge several years ago. And I'm so honored to be part of the PKD community and a leader in spreading awareness around your options for combating this disease. My wish is that one day, hopefully sooner than later, there will be no need for me as the PKD dietitian. Why? Because we will have cured PKD. Until then, I will keep supporting you, advocating for you, and helping you live your best proactive PKD nutrition in real time.